This is Michaela Tenhoven with the final exercise for Site 216. This is the study that is trying to show a correlation between learning from television and learning from reading. Now, because the two groups are still a very similar population, or actually the same population in size, the testing will be the exact same for each individual age group. So the testing for the second graders will be the same as the fifth graders. From the background information, we have enough information to decide that the null hypothesis is going to be rho is equal to 0, which shows that there is no correlation between learning from the television and learning from reading. And with that same information, we can give our alternative hypothesis, which is going to be rho does not equal 0, which shows that there is a correlation between learning from television and learning from reading. Because of this alternative hypothesis, we can conclude that this test will be a two-tailed test. From that information, we then have to decide which testing best fits this group. Because it is a single population, even though they are two different age groups, we do a t-distribution test. With alpha of 0.05 and knowing that this test is a two-tailed test, we take the sample size from each individual group, which is 24, and subtract 2 from that. From that information, we go to the table and find that our R critical is going to equal plus or minus 0.4227. So that information given tells us that if R obtained is less than negative 0.4227, we can reject the null. And if R obtained is greater than 0.4227, we can reject the null. Now in this case, we did not have to calculate R for either grouping. They were given. So for the second graders, R was 0.19, which does not fit into the rejection region, and the R for the fifth graders was 0.31, which again does not fit in the rejection region. From this information, we can conclude that there is not enough information to reject the null, meaning that we do not have enough information to see a correlation between learning from the television and learning from reading. Now, for the next test, by placing the two groups together, it is still going to be a single population, so we do the same t-distribution test, but the sample size increases along with the R obtained increases. So now we have a sample size of 48. We do the same as before. We take 48 minus 2 to get our DF that we use in the table. Alpha is still going to stay at 0.05. To get our R critical, we take all that information and look at the table again, which gives us an R critical of plus or minus 0.2875. With that, we go and we look at our R obtained. If our R obtained is less than negative 0.2875, we can reject the null. And if R obtained is greater than 0.2875, we can reject the null. So by taking the two R points and combining them, we find that our R obtained is 0.62, which in fact is greater than 0.2875, which gives us enough information that we can reject the null, and proving that there is a correlation between learning from the television and learning from reading. The information that makes these two testings different is the sample size. The sample size gives us more data to give us better testing results. If we had one group, for example, just the second graders, there's going to be less given data, which makes our variability lower. By making the variability lower, our testing results prove that there is not enough information to see a correlation. By combining the two groups, we do have enough data to prove that there is a correlation between the two variables of learning from the television and learning from the reading. And that is it.